Android 21. Android 21, Jinzōningen Nijūichi-Gō, is an android whose template was Vomi. She appears as the main antagonist of Dragon Ball FighterZ when in her evil persona. Her intellect rivals that of Dr. Gero, though she may be even smarter than he was. Creation and conception. Akira Toriyama came up with the design for number 21 based on a framework predesigned by Namco Bandai, such as her gender and personality. Number 21 was designed by Toriyama, Bandai, and Arc System works to correct the imbalance of male to female fighters, a female villain who can compete with someone like Gokū. Personality. Number 21 exudes the aura of a soft-spoken and shy woman. Despite this, once she reveals her malicious nature, her demeanor changes entirely. Furthermore, much like Gokū Black, she has a habit of making food comparisons. Due to her biology, Android 21 has a natural, compulsive instinct to feed, which grew out of control due to cells in her body going berserk. Like Majin Buu, she prefers sweets and confectionaries, her favorite being macarons. However, she has no control over her hunger and constantly fights to keep herself from turning others into treats and devouring them. Her hunger is so great and painful that it has led to Android 21's psyche being damaged and manifesting a split personality. The longer she goes without feeding, the more the evil side of her gains control. When her true persona is in control, she acts like a kind and motherly woman who was concerned about Android 18 and agreed to help her. When her evil persona is in control, however, she becomes a sadistic and power-hungry sociopath, wanting to devour all the powerful fighters, drawing to the point of near insanity. Her gluttonous lust for devouring powerful fighters is similar to the traits of the Majins, inherited when Buu's cells were added to her. Her good side is friendly towards good Buu, presumably due to their shared biology and love of sweets. Her personalities were later transferred to her two halves after her good self managed to use fission as a result of the emotional turmoil caused by the death of her adoptive son, Android 16, who was killed by her evil side as a result of her losing control. Though Android 21's good side is aware of the fact that her human template was the mother of Android 16's template, which causes her to develop mother-like affection for him, she admits she has little to no memory of her former life as a human, though she enjoys thinking about what her template's name and life might have been like. She is also apparently unaware that Dr. Gero was the father of Android 16's template or of his relationship with her human template. During one of her conversations with the player, she notes that her creator, while not a good person, was a brilliant scientist and admits she would like to know the reason she was created, though admits that he might not answer her questions or that if he did, she might not want to know the truth. Interestingly, she never mentions Dr. Gero's name directly, though it is obvious he is the one she is referring to. Presumably, her knowledge of him either comes from what little memories she possesses and what she has been able to learn through research of herself and Android 16. In contrast, her evil side cares nothing for Android 16 and believes that androids have no use for things like family and loved ones, as she orders Android 18 to attack her husband Krillin. Additionally, she only values Dr. Gero for his labs and research. Though she is focused primarily on feeding, the evil side of Android 21's personality does not dismiss the concept of seeking galactic conquest, although that goal remains secondary to satisfying her hunger. Unlike her good side, the evil 21 cares only about herself and possesses a selfish, bratty personality. Like Cell, her power causes her to view other beings as beneath her, though additionally, she dismisses all other beings as little more than food to make her stronger. She is responsible for creating evil clones of the Z fighters as well as Nappa, the Ginyu Force, Frieza, Cell, all of whom she resurrected with the Namekian Dragon Balls, and Kid Buu. They exist only as a source of food to sustain her and her hunger, despite finding their taste to be unsatisfactory. She only allows the Z fighters, resurrected villains, and androids to survive and grow stronger in order to further her goal of consuming them. However, she was angered when Z fighters and the villains led by Frieza and Cell started hunting the clones to deny 21 of her food supply, causing her to seek them out in a blind rage driven by her hunger. After separating from her good half, the evil 21 mocked her good half's refusal to feed on others to increase her power and was certain that she was a hypocrite who would eventually give in to her hunger and feed on her allies. However, the good 21 was able to link with the human soul that had been linked to Android 18, which allowed her to maintain control over herself and oppose her evil half without succumbing to her hunger. Still, the good 21 feared she would one day lose control, and thus decided to sacrifice herself to stop her evil half as well as prevent herself from losing control and hurting her newfound friends. Whis and Beerus noted that in time the good 21 would have succumbed to the hunger, so her sacrifice was ultimately for the greater good. However, it is unclear if the good 21 could have overcome her hunger permanently, though she may not have wanted to take the risk of losing control of herself. The self-sacrificing aspect of the good 21's personality fittingly resembles that of her adoptive son, Android 16. Appearance. Number 21 is an attractive woman with a pale, milky complexion that has long, wild and wavy chestnut colored that reaches her lower back. She has 3 bangs, 2 of which frame her face, and the other which hangs in the center. Number 21's eyes are blue and sternly narrow. For accessories, she wears 2 hoops earrings and 2 oracle piercing on both of her ears. She also sports a pair of glasses. She has black shaded nails and has a golden ring on her left ring finger. Although she appears mostly with a white lab coat with the insignia of the Red Ribbon Army, underneath she wears a red and blue checked miniskirt dress piece with detached black sleeves. Her legwear consists of black stockings, and she dons heeled boots with an identical color scheme to her clothes, with an additional yellow on the toe cap. Android 21 is described as a tall, curvaceous scientist with glasses and long bushy auburn hair. She has a gold ring on her left middle finger and black nails. She wears a pair of hoop earrings, a sleeveless, short blue and red checker patterned turtleneck dress with opaque black tights, black detached arm sleeves, and blue and red heel boots. Her eyes are similar to that of Dr. Gero's androids, such as Android 18. In her true form, Android 21 keeps her curvy body, her skin turns pink, her hair becomes a paler shade of pink, her ears become pointed, her eyes changing depending on if her evil half takes over, and she gains a tail. Her attire changes to a black tube top, keeping the black arm sleeves, and also gaining white baggy pants. It's noted that she most resembles a Majin in this form. Her eyes slightly vary depending on which moral alignment she represents. In her good representation, she retains the eyes from her human form. In her evil representation, her eyes instead are more similar overall to that of a Majin. Her appearance in her true form is the result of her having all of the traits of the Z fighters, Frieza, Cell and Majin Buu rolled into one. Android 21 reveals in a private talk with the player that while she may have the appearance of an adult, she is actually less than 10 years old, and regrets not having an adolescence, finding it awkward when small children call her ma'am. History. Android 21's backstory varies, and it seems she herself does not know the truth. In one instance, she claims she was initially a human-type Earthling, converted by Dr. Gero into an android. As a human, she had a son with Dr. Gero, who became the model for the design of Android 16. In another instance, 21 notes that she is a new type of bioandroid superior to Cell built in the image of a human female with the IQ of an adult, though she is not even 10 years old, making her feel as though she missed out on her adolescence. Over time, the cells of numerous powerful warriors and intelligent researchers were added to her, with even the likes of Buu's cells being added to her. She states she has no memory of her apparent life as a human and often found it fun to imagine what her original name was and what her life was like. She did not know why Gero created her as a unique new type of android different from the mecha types, like 16, and the modified humans, like 17 and 18. Her good side did not know much about her creator, only referring to him as the scientist, though she knew he was an evil person with great intelligence, though discussing him for some reason made her feel like crying. On the other hand, her evil side knew about Gero to an extent yet cared little for him or the android built in her son's image, though this is likely due to her views that androids have no need for loved ones and family. At some point, 21 recalled the memory of her or her template having a son. When she realized that she wanted so badly to see him and have him by her side, she repaired Android 16, the android whose design was modeled after her son, later on, and explained that she wanted to treat him like family. Android 21 is apparently unaware that Dr. Gero was the father of her apparent human self's son, and thus the exact nature of Dr. Gero's relationship with her apparent human self is unknown beyond the fact that they were the parents of 16's human template. When 21's urges resurfaced, she activated the link system to use its functions to keep herself under control, by suppressing her growing need to feed, and the persona that spawned from it. Eventually, this led them to seek out Android 18 and Android 17 separately, with the system activated, in hopes they would be able to successfully link them with another soul. According to Android 16, at some point, the cells in May 21st have gone berserk, which resulted in her uncontrollable urges to feed. It is likely that Majin Buu's cells may have been responsible. Additionally, Android 21's hunger may be a result of her unique combination of Majin and Scion cells, as both Scions and Majins are known to have large appetites. Her evil persona may have also been influenced by the combination of cells she acquired from Frieza, Cell, and Kid Buu, as her evil side is known to be cold-hearted like Frieza and Cell while showing signs of madness similar to Kid Buu. The evil 21 does not dismiss the idea of galactic conquest, which may also be influenced by Frieza's cells. It should be noted that her evil personality's activation of the wave machine caused her original personality to regain control only occurs in the timeline of the Android 21 arc, as her evil personality in control and uses her original personality as a hostage to force Android 16 to serve her, though he rebels by linking a human soul to Gokū in the timeline of the Super Warrior arc, while it accidentally ends up linking with Frieza in the timeline of the Enemy Warrior arc. In the timeline of the Android 21 arc, her original personality works with Android 16 to find a way to suppress her evil side and hunger. FighterZ Super Warrior Arc. When giving a false history to Gokū and Krillin, she claimed that she was a researcher employed by the Red Ribbon Army who deserted with Android 18's help, and Android 18 was injured protecting her from Cell, only to be saved by Gokū and Krillin, whom she tells a false backstory to avoid fighting them. Her true colors are later revealed when the Dragon Team defeat Android 16, who is revealed to have linked a human soul to Gokū against Android 21's wishes, causing her to transform into her true form and destroy him with an absolute release ball. Gokū tries to chase after her, but she blasts him out of the sky, causing the soul linked with him to accidentally become linked with Cell, who Android 21 finds and battles with. Cell is no match for her and is forced to retreat using a solar flare. Cell collapses from his injuries and the soul returns to Gokū. She later consumes the revived villains Nappa, Jinyu Force, Frieza, and Cell before turning her attention to the Dragon Team. To avoid destroying Earth, Gokū teleports the team to the sacred world of the Kai, where she confronts the Dragon Team. Like Kid Buu, she is ultimately defeated by Goku's Super Spirit Bomb. However, questions regarding her and Android 16 remain. The events of this arc are seemingly stopped from happening when the spirit travels back to the start of the events to possess someone else and find out more about the truth at Whis' suggestion. This story arc was also adapted into a story event in Dragon Ball Z, Dokkan Battle, as part of a crossover event with FighterZ, with the player being able to acquire the conflicting Mind Android number 21 card, which can be transcended Dokkan awakened into Good vs Evil Android number 21, transformed, Good, card using awakening medals acquired from the same story event. Some parts of the arc are omitted or changed, such as the human soul linked to Goku sharing the name of the unseen protagonist from Quest Mode and Gohan being rescued before the confrontation with Android 16 at 21's lab, which is left up to the player in FighterZ. However, Android 21's role is virtually the same, with her being killed by Goku's Super Spirit Bomb. Enemy Warrior Arc. Android 21 and Android 16 travel to New Namek and use the Namekian Dragon Balls to summon Porunga, having him revive Frieza, Cell, Nappa, and Jinyu Force. Taking the revived villains back to Earth, 21 clones them before linking artificial souls to Cell, Nappa, the Jinyu Force, Android 17, and Android 18, allowing her to control them. She eventually discovers 16 had inadvertently linked a human soul to Frieza, his original candidate being Goku, like in the Super Warrior arc, who works with the soul to free himself of it, freeing Nappa and the Jinyu Force by defeating them and using them to reform a resurgent Frieza Force. Android 21 sends 18 to eliminate the villains, but 18 is defeated and freed. 21 confronts the villains and notes that she does not dismiss the idea of seeking galactic conquest before they discover it was a setup to trick Krillin and Goku in believing 18 had been injured, protecting her, with 21 escaping while the two factions were occupied. After defeating Goku and Krillin, Frieza and Cell realize 21 left and inform Goku and Krillin they had been tricked. 21 decides to punish 16 for betraying her, sending him to kill her enemies. However, she knew he would be defeated, and after transforming into her true form, 21 feigns helplessness, causing 16 to shield 21 from Frieza, and Cell's attacks her only for her to cruelly destroy him herself. Eventually, 21 is furious at the loss of her clones, forcing her to resort to consuming the originals, the result of a plan devised by Frieza to force her to confront her enemies. She is then destroyed by Goku, Frieza, and Cell with a combined energy wave after using Bulma's machine at maximum output regain enough power. Following her death, the soul leaves Frieza, who along with his minions and ally Cell end their truce with the Dragon Team, though the result of said confrontation is not shown. The events of this arc are seemingly stopped from happening when the spirit travels back to the start of the events to possess someone else and find out more about the truth. Android 21 arc. Android 21 appears right after the linking process of Android 18 and another soul succeeded. Surprised at the results, she came in and introduced herself as 21 and told the soul inside 18 about its current status and the current situation at hand, about how the clones created by the Red Ribbon Army are running amok and destroying the Earth. 21 also tells the soul to communicate to 18. After this, 21 gives them the clothes 18 wore while serving Gero. While reluctant at first, 18 accepts, and 16, 21, 18, as well as Android 17, travel to defeat the clones. As time progresses, however, 21 begins to lose more control over herself, and eventually when Krillin comes in to save 18, 21 lashes out and tries to feed on Krillin. Luckily, the group subdued her with the help of the soul inside 18. Though a mysterious entity inside 21 tells the soul that, eventually, 21 will give in. They then proceed to defeating more clones, with the soul now interacting more with 21. During these times, 21 would reveal some things about herself, and the soul would encourage her to continue fighting to keep her urges away. However, as the entity promised, 21 began to lose control of her lust to feed once more. When the group encountered Cell, who had been restored to his full power due to linking with an artificial soul and bending it to his will, 21 transforms to her true form and fights Cell alongside 18 and 17, much to 16's chagrin. After the fight, 21 finally gives in to her urges and tries to eat Cell. While the soul tried to link back in with her, the entity inside 21 rejected it. Having no other option, 16 tries to stop her, resulting in his death at her hand. 21, now devastated that she killed the android modeled after her son, screams in disbelief and sorrow, finally pushing out the entity that had given her nothing but fear for so long. It is later revealed in a conversation between her good and evil halves at the lab where the wave machine remote is located that it was her evil personality activating the wave machine which caused her original personality to resurface and regain control over their body due to the waves weakening her evil half. World Mission. Android 21 Saga. Activation. In Super Dragon Ball Heroes, World Mission, in the arcade mode Universe Mission Age Android 21 Saga, activation has the player use the link system to link their avatar to either Gokū or Frieza in an adaptation of the Super Warrior and Enemy Warrior arcs. Eventually, Gokū or Frieza confront Android 21, Normal, and 2 clones. Gokū faces her in a boss mission after defeating new Model 16 while Frieza faces her in a super boss mission after defeating a clone of himself, Cell, and Kid Buu. In both missions, Android 21 cannot be captured using a hero robo-capture module thus cannot be turned into a summon module, however the clones accompanying her can. Abilities. Number 21 has capability to absorb abilities through absorbing energy from other targets. Key manipulation. Transformations. True form. Power. Video games. Being created from the cells of countless warriors and scientists, Android 21 is one of the most powerful androids in the series and the most powerful female android created through Dr. Gero's research. Like Majin Buu and Cell, she can increase her power by absorbing other life forms, which she does by turning them into sweets and eating them increasing her power. In the Super Warrior arc, she is able to easily defeat Cell without even using half of her power. When inhibited by the waves she is able to easily defeat Nappa, the Ginyu Force and final form Frieza, who are all also inhibited by the waves. After absorbing Nappa, Cell, the Ginyu Force, and Frieza, she is defeated by the combined might of Super Saiyan Goku, Super Saiyan Vegeta, Ultimate Gohan, Piccolo, Krillin, Tien Shinhan, Yamcha, Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, and Good Buu. Vegeta states that if he had access to his full power, he would have been able to defeat 21 alone. In the Enemy Warrior arc, even while inhibited by the waves, her powering up in her base form is enough to shock Krillin. Even after having absorbed many clones, she is annihilated by the combined attack of Final Form Frieza, Super Saiyan Goku, and Perfect Cell when their full powers were reawakened by Bulma overriding the suppression waves. In the Android 21 arc, when inhibited by the waves, teamed up with Android 17, 18, and 16, 21 is able to defeat Cell even after he is drastically powered up by using the artificial soul he has been implanted with. Android 16 describes her as having more potential than Cell ever had and being far stronger than him. He states she can endlessly power herself up by feeding on other creatures and that her urge to feed is her most dangerous quality. In opening dialogue when facing Android 18 in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, base Android 21 refers to 18 as being stronger than her, but says she will surpass her. Statements by guidebooks and authors. She can compete with the series' strongest fighters. Normal. A form representing Android 21's original human self. In this form, she appears as a voluptuous attractive woman with auburn hair, wears glasses, a blue and red dress with black sleeves and a lab coat with a red ribbon army logo, and blue and red heels. She has blue eyes and wears a pair of gold hoop earrings. It is unclear if 21 can revert to this form after transforming into her true form. In Dokkan Battle, this form is playable under the name Android number 21, Normal, and features her good personality and control. In Dragon Ball Legends, as part of a crossover event with Dragon Ball FighterZ, her normal form appears as a free event character Android number 21, DBL EVT-13S, while the other two incarnations of Android 21 represent her fissions in their transformed states. In Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, her normal form is playable via the Ultra Pack 2 DLC. During New Parallel Quest 139, War and Pieces, with her good persona in control she and the Time Patrol seek out pieces of the destroyed Android 16 so she can reconstruct him. However, they are forced to fight off Good Buu, Hercule, Gotenks, Jaco, Yamcha, Captain Ginyu, and Frieza while recovering them, with her successfully rebuilding Android 16 during an ultimate finish. During New PQ-139, Spirit Bomb Away, her evil persona is able to temporarily take hold thanks to supervillain power. Though during an ultimate finish it is possible to defeat her removing the enchantment, resulting in her good persona regaining control and her requesting the Time Patrol defeat her evil self again should her evil persona ever resurface. In Super Dragon Ball Heroes World Mission, she appears in this form as a boss and super boss in the arcade mode Universe Mission Age Android 21 Saga Activation. She cannot be captured with Hero Robo Capture modules. However, the form has several playable cards which can be acquired from certain gacha shop card sets. Depending upon the card, her human form can be played with or without her lab coat. In Dragon Ball Z, Kakarot, Android 21's template, Vomi, appears as an unnamed new Capsule Corporation employee known only by her in-game moniker female researcher as her actual name is unrevealed. Transformed. Android 21 is able to transform into a form that resembles a Majin in body color and attire, though she also possesses white hair and spiked Namekian-like ears and a tail similar to final form Frisia. In this state her evil side remains in control, she has red eyes and black scara and having pink-white hair. This state is referred to as transformed in Dragon Ball Heroes and Dokkan Battle, though many characters in FighterZ refer to it as her true form. Transformed, good. Android 21 is able to transform into a form that resembles a Majin in body color and attire, though she also possesses white hair and spiked Namekian-like ears and a tail similar to final form Frisia. Depending on which side of her personality is dominant at the moment, her eyes in this form will vary. In this good state, she retains her blue eyes and white scara with her hair completely white. This state is referred to as transformed, good in Dokkan Battle. In Dragon Ball Legends, this form is playable as Android 21, good, DBL 31-02S.
If you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later, bye bye.